Good morning, afternoon, and evening all. This is Yorkie with some Project Cars footage for you here, and they have announced earlier in this week they have a rough date of when the game is actually going to be finally released. It is going to be in November 2014, that's later this year, and it is going to be released across PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I'm going to do this video here. It's basically just going to be showing you guys the menu and the different options that you can choose from in the game. It's something that a couple of people have been requesting. I've kind of been aiming to do it for a while as well, but this kind of announcement has kind of given me a good opportunity to present this sort of stuff to you guys and give you a little bit more detail as to what is in the game and hopefully what else is actually hopefully to come in the future. We're kind of going to avoid the career for the moment, as it's something that I haven't really got into, so I can't really talk too much in depth on it, but I'll do a separate video when I kind of fiddle around with it a little bit more and had a better opportunity to basically get more involved in the game and give it a real good shakedown. At the bottom here, these three options are pretty much they're accessible from all the way across the board. So just quickly, a driver network. This is obviously I'm guessing this is going to be all your stats that you have for your players. Actually, this isn't accurate to myself at the moment, as I haven't done 82.5 hours in career. So obviously, this is something that's very much work in progress. But you'll be able to see what you've kind of done and your stats, your overall performance, and all that sort of thing, which is really cool to see. Actually, it's my first look at this. So yeah, something to look forward to in the future. My garage, I'm guessing, is all your car stuff. At the moment, it looks like it's all the cars are unlocked in my garage, as I haven't done any career stuff. So, just going back a screen, you can choose between all, which allows you to go straight to all the manufacturers and then choose your car from there. Or you can choose your specific class or type of car. So we've got karts, we've got open wheel, which is kind of your Formula 1, GP2, GP3 style cars. You can see here we also got a Formula Ford as well. You can also actually choose the paint scheme, the liveries of each car as well. Formula Golf 1000, which is featured in a previous video of mine, and we've got some classic cars here as well. So old 49 Lotus, these are all Lotus cars, as you can see by the naming. 78T there, the turbo, which is an absolute beast of a thing in this game. It's absolutely ridiculous the amount of power that thing puts down. But yeah, you got some stock cars as well. There's only really kind of one variant or two variants of it. You've got these two, which are basically a road going version and a more oval style. A lot of the cars, the ones that have been in the wild for a game, have got quite a lot of liveries and paint schemes. The newer ones that have only been in for the last month, if that, probably less, a week or two, shall I say, don't really have any liveries in there, so it's just colours. As you can see from this Audi R8 here, it's only really colours at the moment, but there will be some in the near future. But yeah, some really nice texture work on all these cars. You get a good view as well. Good variation of cars too, as you can see from basically this Ford. Even just in the GT section, you've got a GT40 there. You've got a tuned Ford Mustang. We've got a really old Ford Mustang Cobra there, which is really cool. And obviously the absolutely amazing legendary Ford Capri, car that I've been very much enjoying driving in this game. And just to kind of show you the depth and variation that you can have in just one manufacturer, we've got some really nice old Ford Escorts Mark 1s. We've got a Focus RS, and then obviously the cars that I've just showed you just there. Also got a touring car here as well. But yeah, each manufacturer has a variety of different cars. Obviously, we've got Le Mans style cars as well. With if they're officially licensed in the game, they'll have the proper liveries and also names. But some do have fictional names and liveries. But even still, the cars are modelled very nicely on their real life counterparts, and they do look absolutely fantastic. This is pretty much all you can see of the cars at the moment. There's no option to kind of sit inside them unless you're actually racing. But hopefully that's something to come in the future. And you can also choose the setups for the cars. This is something that I haven't actually looked into myself yet. I've been basically racing with default setups just to try and get a general feel of the cars. Then once I kind of got to enjoy the defaultness kind of push for more performance and actually fiddle around with this stuff. It's, as you can see just from this screen, there's quite a few options, and this is just for the front suspension. That's the front left, front right, and then you've got kind of the front overall, kind of both. Obviously you've got the rear options there as well. Quite a lot to choose from, some nice sliders. Ride heights, we can go for something ridiculous. Yeah, let's make the car lean. At a really awkward angle on the rear left to the rear right. And then the global settings are kind of your gear ratios, fuel loads, and other general things like that. And you can obviously save your settings, reset them, and get a little bit of general help and that sort of thing. But like I said, it's something that I haven't actually fiddled with in the past. And the actual setups can be limited depending on the car as well. Obviously, this being a fully bred race car, I've got a lot of setups. Road cars will probably only have a couple of things like adjusting ride heights and maybe a tiny bit on the spring stiffness and rebound settings there. So this is all, yeah, really cool. The options thing is pretty much general across any other game. Obviously, you've got the audio settings. Leave that. We've got our visual settings, which is kind of nearly on maximum. Most things are on high rather than absolute max. This is basically just allow me to get a decent, consistent 30 frames per second plus whilst racing with, say, 20 odd AI. But when I'm kind of racing by myself, I usually get somewhere around 60, 70 odd frames, which is quite good. Obviously, camera settings, they do have track AR. Something I haven't actually tried out yet, so I'll be doing that in a video fairly shortly. But you got like helmet settings, so you got look to apex, which is kind of shift 2 style, which actually works quite nicely. It's not quite as bad as shift 2, I don't think. Different camera shake effects. This is mostly to do with the in-game, in-cockpit sort of camera. You do so as field of view settings here as well. But yeah, some things to fiddle around with there. That's kind of what I've been running with a while. Obviously the controls, there are actually decent setting options for basically force feedback and steering wheel, both pedals and steering and that sort of thing. So it's all good. A lot of edit options is basically the button configuration. Obviously you can see here some text is overlapping, so this is obviously work in progress sort of stuff. But this will be way down on their priority list at the moment, as that'll probably only be done just before the game actually comes out. As you can read that text. Obviously, the gameplay, you can set in your basically the assists in the game. Obviously, this is what I run most of the time. It's only fairly recent that I've actually turned the traction control off. It was on. There used to be actually an option to kind of have it off, medium, and full. Now it just looks like it's yes or no. Realism, this is basically the HUD and general authenticity, kind of your tyre wear fuel usage, allowing the car to to have restarts, damage and all that sort of thing. So quite a few options here. And then you've obviously got the opponent settings as well, and these are actually fully adjustable sliders, which is very good and very useful. This is kind of what I've been running for a while, basically just to try and make the AI a little bit more consistent and a little bit less aggressive. Generally, compared to other games, the AI in this in Project Cars is very solid. They will hang it around the outside or on the inside and will occasionally take risks, some more than others, and that's kind of those settings that I had there were quite a nice balance. But anyway, coming back to this tab here, so career, kind of ignoring solo, you got your obviously the quick race weekend. You can create your own season and also a free practice session. Online is basically what it says. The online component is working very nicely at the moment. There's a few issues, I believe, which obviously they're working on. There's a few things that they're hoping to bring in the future as well. But from this screen, you can get a really good sense of basically what's going on. Obviously, you got the host name, you got the track, the vehicle that the host has chosen, and from that you can get a good idea as to what kind of restrictions they're running in the lobby. Because some people like to run like specifically GT cars or road cars or that sort of kind of thing, but allow you to have free reign on the specific manufacturer and actual car. Which is rather cool. You get some good GT races out of that. Obviously the conditions is your weather conditions, the start time and the number of laps, and then you've got the status as to whether they're racing or not, whether there's players and AI or just players, and obviously whether they're still in the lobby and haven't actually launched into a race yet. And you do also get some lobbies with password protection as well, and you can obviously create your own lobby if there's none around and you want other people to join you. There is Steam integration stuff, as you can see here. However, these don't work at the moment. You click on those, nothing happens. And then you've got a community section, which is basically your time trial with leaderboards. Basically works as in any other racing game. Kind of, you set your fastest lap around the track and see where you rank in the world. They do also do events as well in specific tracks and specific cars and specific settings. Obviously, this is at Bathurst in a Renault Megane RS. It does allow you to change your car setup and choose specific ghost cars and sort of thing. But you can see where people are ranking in the world from this. Which is rather cool, just adds a little bit of competition to the game. But yeah, I'm going to show you the basic setup for a race weekend. Obviously, going into it, you can launch straight into it straight away without changing any of the options. You can choose the number of laps and a number of other options here. So, number of laps, you can range between anywhere between 1 and 99. I'm hoping that later on in the development they will actually allow to have a time limit rather than a number of laps, basically for endurance races and that sort of thing. That would be very, very cool, especially online. People doing like 5-6 hour endurance races, that would be fucking epic. Number of opponents, this can range anywhere between 0 to 39. 0, if you want to feel lonely, you can race just by yourself a specific number of laps. Obviously 39 is quite a large number of cars. You can also choose the class type of your opponents as well. So same classes, obviously, it's the same genre or same class of your car that you choose. So say if I was to go with a GT car, say a Mercedes SLS GT3, all the other cars that I race against, all the AI will be in GT3 cars, so there'll probably be an Audi R8s, McLaren MP4 12C GT3s, Genetic cars and Z4 GT3s, that sort of thing. You do get a nice mix of cars, but you can also choose for them to go to identical to your car, random opponents. So you could be put up against like Focus RSs against Formula 1 cars. It'll be something ridiculous, something like that. You do get a nice mix. And yeah, back to the same class. You can choose your grid position layout as well. You can choose specifically where on the grid you want to choose in player custom. Player first is obviously the player at the front of the grid, not exactly first, but like very near the front, so probably in the top 3 positions. Player middle, as it would suggest, and then player at the back of the grid, and then obviously you've got a random grid position there as well. You can do practice sessions, qualifying, warm-up prior to the race. You can do 2 race formats, which is actually a new feature that they've just implemented in the last week or so, I believe. So that's something that I actually need to try out in the near future as well. Formation lap. You can do a formation lap. This is actually AI driven. You can't actually do it yourself as of yet. So the AI will drive you around the track, but it will warm up your tyres, as your tyres do start off cold at the beginning of races, which can heavily affect your start depending on what car you're in. If you're in a Formula 1 car, cold tyres are a very, very bad thing. End up a lot of wheel spin and very little grip. You can also do rolling starts as well, which I believe is track and possibly car specific as well, or car class specific, shall I say. So you can do a rolling start rather than a standing start from the grid. You can also choose the weather conditions as well. This has actually been refined a little bit in previous builds. It used to be like a clear and then clear 1 to 5, which are basically sunny. Now it's just clear. But you have variations of cloud. You could do overcast, you could do light rain, heavy rain, go into thunderstorms, you could do fog, you could do heavy fog, and then hazy, which is kind of like a heat wave effect. You got basically the starting weather that you start off in the race in, and then race weather further into the race if you're doing a kind of a longer distance. We'll stick those in both clear for now. Date type, you can choose basically when you want to do the race, or when the race is going to be set, as it were. So you could do your current date, which is obviously the 2nd of April 2014, which is the day that I'm recording this on. You could do a race date, which needs to be set default to that specific date there, and you can also do a custom date. So Basically what this does, where I am currently at Bathurst, or I'm currently set to race in Bathurst, which is over in Australia, if I was to go for June, 6th of June, it'll be Australia's winter, which means the nights will be longer and the days will be shorter. Alternatively, if I was to go to December, it'll be Australia's summer, so their days will be longer, their nights will be shorter. You can choose the starting time as well, full 24-hour clock, and you can also choose the rate at which time progresses, so you can have it completely off. So if I was to start at 1 in the morning as this reads, the race will be at that current time. Obviously you could do real time 2 times, there's a 10 times option, 60 times, and a 240 times as well, which is pretty extensive. It's rather cool. I don't have it on 240 times because that's kind of ridiculous. Usually you have 2 times or 10 times depending on the length of the race that I'm doing and kind of the variation and weather that I want. But yes, location, this is where you choose the track. Good variety of tracks from pretty much a good variety of countries from across the globe. We've got some kind of recognizable tracks. This is Monaco. Obviously it's named different for licensing purposes. We've got Bathurst in there, we've got Brands Hatch, we've got Donington, just to name a few. Lior is the 24-hour Le Mans circuit that they use. We've got the all-famous Nürburgring with both the Nordschleife and also the actual Nürburgring GP circuits with shorter versions as well. You do get different variations of the tracks. Silverstone is quite a good highlighter of that. Obviously we've got the F1 track there, the current F1 track. We've got an old national pit straight shortened version of the circuit. We've got international, which is the newer updated version, which includes obviously Copse, Club and Vale there. Also you've got Village and Abbey as well. It kind of misses out the Maggots, Beckett's, Luffield and Copse section. I'm pretty sure I said that was Copse, but that's not. That's Stowe, which quite nicely moves us into this circuit, which is actually, I believe it's a circuit that's actually there on the inside of Stowe, on the infield section of the track, which is actually separate, which people can kind of drive in like Lotus Exeges and stuff. It's kind of like a drivers club short circuit sort of thing, so that's quite cool to actually do that. And you obviously got the surroundings of Silverstone there as well, and then you got a Silverstone Classic, which is basically from 1940s 50s era, the very old, very first version of Silverstone that they had. And yeah, it's very cool. They do have other tracks like this as well, classic tracks. I believe. Oh yeah, you got you got the old Hockenheim ring there as well. But it's very cool that those tracks are actually modelled on olden day circuits as well, so they do look old with like hay bales around the circuit and stuff, which is very, very cool. Obviously not all the tracks are finished, but some are fairly close to. Oh, you got the old Spa as well, which is really good. You do also have karting tracks as well. Good variation of tracks actually. Obviously you've got Formula 1 tracks, we've got some like GT class tracks, you've got Laguna Seca there. And we do also have your oval racing circuit tracks as well, so good variety, quite a lot of fun to choose and try out all the different tracks, and they're all at different stages of development as well. So some are pretty much finished and some are like brand new, with odd glitches here and there, but they are constantly working on the tracks and improving them, so it's nice to see that progression pretty much throughout the entire development cycle. And then vehicle, this is where you obviously choose your vehicle for the race, and like I said, like I showed earlier, it's pretty much exactly the same. You can choose what car you want. Let's have a look at a Pagani. There's quite a nice variety. We got the Huayra there, the Zonda Secure Roadster, which is probably my favourite car of all time. This is the car that I ultimately want. If money was, well, yeah, if I had unlimited amounts of cash, this is the car I would have. And then you obviously got the Zonda R, which is featured previously in my channel as well. All the cars are at different stages of development. Obviously, nice liveries here as well for all the cars. But yeah, that's going to pretty much conclude it for this video. I think I covered everything. If you saw something that I didn't cover, let me know and I'll cover it in a second video. But yeah, that's the a nice look at the menu system in Project Cars at the moment. There'll be more Project Cars videos coming very shortly, no doubt, and it's definitely a game that I'm planning on featuring more on my channel, so stick around for that. Please give it a video rating, leave any comments or questions leave below, and of course don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. I shall hopefully see you soon, guys. Take care.